truly grateful for your warm hospitality and exemplary leadership. General of the International Solar Alliance to deliver the welcome address.
Today, as we meet in this beautiful island nation, we reaffirm a shared purpose and regional solidarity in advancing a sustainable energy future. Friends, the International Solar Alliance, born from a joint initiative of India and France at COP21 in Paris, has grown to symbolize a collective ambition to harness the power of sun for a cleaner, more equitable world. India has embraced this journey with determination and scale. I'm proud to share that India has achieved a landmark in its energy transition journey by reaching 50% of its installed electricity capacity from non-fossil fuel sources, 5 years ahead of the target set under the nationally determined contribution to the Paris Agreement. Solar has been at the heart of this ambition. From 2.8 gigawatt in 2014, our current solar capacity stands at over 116 gigawatt, a growth of 41 times in 11 years. Friends, the journey of sustainable energy and green future is not a journey any one nation can travel alone. Regional cooperation, especially in Asia and the Pacific, is critical. Sri Lanka, with its ambitious target of achieving 70% renewable energy by 2030, is a key partner. As the High Commissioner of India in Sri Lanka, I take particular pride in the expanding energy partnership between our two nations. The regional committee meeting today is not merely an event for the calendar. It is a platform of action. Let us use it to exchange ideas, forge new partnership, and advance projects that will light up homes, schools, and hopes in a sustainable way. I once again express my heartfelt thanks to the Government of Sri Lanka and International Solar Alliance for hosting us with warmth and generosity, and to all the ISA members and partners present here today for your unwavering commitment. Let us move forward together, united by sunlight, guided by solidarity, and driven by the promise of a greener and more resilient region.
Sri Lanka, as a proud member of the International Solar Alliance, is firmly committed to this transformation. Our national goal is to achieve 70% of renewable energy in electricity generation by 2030 and reach carbon neutrality by 2050. Solar energy is central to this vision. The government has launched initiatives such as the Battle for Solar Energy program, promoting rooftop solar, and is working closely with international partners to scale solar parks, floating solar, and solar irrigation for agriculture. The urgency of this transition is evident across Asia and the Pacific region, home to over 4.3 billion people, nearly 60% of the global population, and account for more than half of global energy consumption. Yet another 230 million people in the region remain without access to electricity.
Good morning, Ayubovan, Vanakkam. It is both a privilege and a great pleasure to welcome you to Sri Lanka as we host the 7th Regional Committee meeting of the International Solar Alliance for the Asia and Pacific region. This gathering is a testament to our shared commitment to reimagining energy systems for a future that is secure, sustainable, and inclusive. If the 20th century was defined by fossil fuel, then the 21st century must be led by the promise of sunlight, clean, abundant, and universally accessible. Asia and the Pacific stand at a critical juncture. Home to nearly 60% of the global population and many of the world's most dynamic economies, our region must shoulder the dual responsibility of accelerating economic growth while confronting climate vulnerabilities. From coastal megacities and small island states to remote inland communities striving for basic energy access, our energy strategies must be both resilient and equitable. In this context, solar energy is not merely an alternative, it is an imperative. Yet, scaling solar solutions requires more than ambition. It demands affordable financing, appropriate technologies, strong institutions, and above all, robust cooperation. Sri Lanka has embraced this challenge with resolve. Despite recent economic and political pressures, we have reaffirmed our commitment to clear energy and inclusive growth. We are charting a path to recovery that is environmentally sustainable and economically and socially just. Our national policy aims to generate 70% of electricity from renewable energy sources by 2030 and to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. And the minister informed me that we are on schedule. In fact, we are not just on schedule. A month ago, we achieved that target of 70% of electricity from renewable energy. Our challenge is now to make sure that this is sustainable and that our systems, our grid, our systems are able to maintain this level of renewable energy with stability. So we are on course to meet these targets, and we are very, very committed and very determined that we will do so. Solar power is at the heart of this transition that we are seeking. Through the Surya Bala Sangramaya, Battle for Solar Energy program, we are expanding rooftop solar installations across households, schools, and public institutions. As we seek to digitalize our education system, as we seek to make sure that even our remotest communities are connected, the demand for energy, the demand for connectivity is only going to increase. And we need to prepare our infrastructure and we need to prepare our systems to deal with the increasing demands as well. We have also completed 2 successful power projects for floating solar plants at Chandrika Weber and Kiribban Weber. In parallel, we are revising our electricity legislation to support competitive bidding processes and build long-term investor confidence. However, one of our biggest challenges remain ensuring that this energy transition is just, accessible, and affordable for all, especially during a period of fiscal recovery. This is where partnerships play a pivotal role. We are deeply grateful for the continued support of the International Solar Alliance. The ISA has strengthened institutional capacities and facilitated vital knowledge exchange. Its work on distributed solar and innovative financial models has laid a strong foundation for scaling rural electrification, which is a key priority for the government. We also commend ISA's efforts to expand the global solar facility and urge a targeted approach for small island developing states and lower middle income countries in our region. These nations face high costs, land constraints, and grid limitations, yet possess immense potential in decentralized and storage-based solar solutions. Sri Lanka fully supports the ISA's 4 strategic pillars and is in the process of establishing a star center at the University of Moratuwa in Colombo, which I believe is where our secretary for the ministry was also placed prior to taking this appointment, to serve as a regional hub for solar training and research. We also propose greater collaboration in emerging areas such as solar desalination, electric mobility, and solar-powered cold chains, each aligned with our national development priorities. Across Asia and the Pacific, solar potential remains largely untapped. So Southeast Asia alone holds an estimated 20,000 gigawatts of solar PV potential, yet deployment falls significantly short. In South Asia, while rooftop installations are expanding, utility-scale projects still lag behind. For the Pacific Islands, the need is not only for clean energy, but for resilient energy systems that can endure climate shocks, supply disruptions, and rising seas. This meeting presents an invaluable opportunity to move from dialogue to alignment, to shape joint strategies that are scalable, innovative, and regionally relevant. Let me conclude with this. Solar energy is a powerful lever for transformation. It can light homes, energize schools, power industries, and uplift communities. But this journey must be a collective one. The rays of the sun know no borders, nor should our solutions. This cooperation and this alliance and these kinds of partnerships and the commitment to renewable energy solutions is even more vital right now. It is not only that we commit to these solutions and to these priorities, but the fact that we are demonstrating belief in sustainable energy solutions is absolutely vital at this stage when there is a global distancing from some of these conversations. It is up to us to continue to pursue these solutions and to pursue our commitment, and most importantly, to demonstrate our commitment to these causes. So on behalf of the government of Sri Lanka, I extend my warmest wishes for productive deliberations and renewed resolve. Let this meeting not only mark a milestone, but ignite fresh momentum towards a brighter, solar-powered Asia-Pacific. Welcome to Sri Lanka. I hope you get to also experience the hospitality and the beauty of our country. So I encourage you to step out of the hotel as well and see for yourself that we are a country not only blessed with plenty of renewable energy sources, but also warmth and hospitality that I think we are only too ready to share with the rest of the world. So please enjoy yourselves, not just at the conference, but in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best.